It is Rip City Remix night here tonight at Moda, celebrating the remix with their players, front office, staff in attendance here tonight. Some of the remix alum actually playing in the game. That's always nice. That's kind of unique. And with us is Jarrey Foster here tonight, part of the remix as well. On the roster, playing basketball, realizing the dream.
Yeah.
Coming out of Houston, Texas, and played at SMU. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Good to see you.
Yes, indeed.
You know, we wanted to get a breakdown of all your remix teammates out here at some point.
Right on. We can definitely do that.
But first, we want to talk about you. Your dream and your travels and your journey to get to the remix.
Correct.
How did you get here?
Man, it's been one journey that I'm thankful for. A lot of injuries, a lot of adversity, but at the same time, coming out of Houston, going to SMU, spending some time there, and having a couple of ACLs. You know, I went through a period of time where I had to work in corporate, had to get a regular job, spent 3 years away from the game, and had an opportunity to come to training camp this year and earn a spot. So the journey has been up and down, but at the same time, I'm thankful for it because I'm back here, I'm present, I'm aware. And I have everything that I need within this organization to be a great basketball player.
Who reached out to you to give you that opportunity to play here? Because that's a golden opportunity.
Exactly. To be out 3 years, Mike Schmitz, actually assistant general manager, had a relationship with him coming out of college and kind of made that connection again. And he saw that there was potential. So we had an opportunity and we made it happen. So.
You know, I'm grateful for you sharing that story. I kind of came through the CBA and made it to the league. When you were going to training camp, having been out of basketball for a couple of years, tell me what that feeling was in your gut. I can do this, or I need to get a report card of where I stand?
That's a great question because, I mean, you go back and forth with yourself, like, do I have the confidence to make this happen, which I do. But at the same time, you go in, you want to test yourself out, you want to see where you are based off of being in the game for 3 years. But every day I just went in there with the right mindset and just did what I knew what I could do and made it happen.
What were you I'm just curious, what were you doing in the corporate world then? I mean, you seem like a guy who's not going to be idle. You're going to work on some stuff. What did you work on during that period of time?
I was actually, I spent some time in oil and gas for 2.5 years.
Of course.
I did some commercial real estate. Shout out my guy John Offshuler in Dallas. And I actually spent some time coaching at SMU again. It was a grad assistant. So spent some time in oil and gas, commercial real estate, and touched back down into coaching a little bit.
But there's nothing like being on the bus, on the plane with the fellas, getting prepped and ready to play some basketball.
Man, that's the best thing. Having my teammates around and going through the routine, I think that's the best part about it. So to be back in this situation is a blessing.
Tell me about Jarrey, because you talk about basketball travels.
Yeah.
He's played in Lebanon, Serbia, you name it. He's played there. 27-year-old rookie coming from Sudan. That whole story is just absolutely amazing, his life story.
Yes, and I can attest to it. You know, spending some time with Wap during training camp. Just a great dude, you know, down to earth, and really just want to be a great basketball player. But his journey, man, is one of a kind. But he's taken advantage, even from the first game when we were out in South Bay. And he had an opportunity, and he went for 30. I knew that was probably going to be, you know, one of the last times he would play with Wap. But he's in a good position now, man, and he's taking advantage of his opportunity, and the sky's the limit for him.
You know, and then the other, pardon me, Michael, I just want to follow up on Ibu Baji, because there's a story as well. I mean,
Definitely.
Had a difficult time last year, and, you know, would have been so much better for him had the Blazers at that point had a G League team. Now he's the beneficiary of that, just as Reith is.
Yes.
He takes it to the stripe. Just being around Reith, I'm sure, has helped Baji. But those 2 blocks he had in New York and Randall were unbelievable.
Yeah, we were talking about that before our game the other day, man. But he's coming in, his confidence is coming in. So just to see Baji in the position he's in, it's great. So
timeout on the floor. Jarrey's going to stay with us. Jarrey Foster. It is remix night here tonight as we talk NBA and G League. Blazers on top of the visiting Brooklyn Nets. 4:07 to go in the first quarter. Their group of good-looking young men and women. The G League Portland Rip City Remix with Jim Moran, the coach, off to your left-hand side. Danny Connors, the general manager. Krista Stout, the business side. Hannah Grove, the team president. Reggie Walker, marketing director. Pooh Jeter, of course, the assistant general manager and player development coach with the Blazers. And Jarrey Foster with us is here, a member of the roster. You guys are home for the next week and a half?
Yes, indeed.
So ample opportunity to go over to the Child Center and see the remix.
Yes, indeed.
Michael, you had a question for our guest.
Yeah, I just wanted to know how you feel competitively against guys that have not had their career interrupted while you have gathered some life experience. Now, when you look them in the eye, are you hungrier than they are? Or, I mean, how do you look at the opportunity to compete?
So I look at it in two ways. There's a physical side, and then there's a mental side. Definitely, I feel like being away from the game and not having the game, I feel like my mentality stronger, my mindset going into the day, and how to look at the day, no matter if you're doing good or doing bad in performance, you know that you belong here. But physically, I try not to think about it. I go in and do my work, get my treatments, and just try to make sure that I'm prepared the best that I can be in Jarrey's state, and then everything else takes care of itself. But as a competitor, whoever's in front of me, I try to do my best and then go at them. But at the same time, try to stop them. But I try not to compare myself too much and just do what I'm supposed to do and play my game.
And that's really what you got to do as a pro. Being a pro is about doing what you do best as often as possible.
Correct.
And learning what you can when you're watching others. So when you are able to watch guys you played with in the remix and then they come play here with the Blazers, and then they come back. Is there a conversation of debriefing them about that experience?
Oh, definitely. Man, you have your laughs about, man, yo, you big time, you played up, you're up with the Blazers, but when you come back down, it's those conversations of saying, like, hey, man, you played up there. Like, what things have you seen? What things have you learned? How can we implement that down here with the Rip City remix so we can continue to develop? But I feel like the exchange back and forth between the Blazers and the remix is so valuable. Just because we can learn from each other, we can push each other in practice, and in the games we can communicate better.
And then there's another part about that nobody likes to talk about. You expect them to pick the tab up too, though, right?
We gonna keep that one on the wraps. It's all love.
Well, we just saw Baji get a block, and now he collects a rebound. So instantly his effect is felt out on the floor. Baji, such a young group too. It's really been, it was tough to go on the road the way the Blazers did, 1-6 on that road trip, but we knew in those kinds of occasions, those were developmental minutes, as Terry Porter and Michael Holton, the coaches, like to say, late in the ball game, and those guys took full advantage of that. Murray, Rupert was terrific as well. Just waiting for that opportunity.
Yeah, and that's all it takes. Those guys are always ready, and they show up and show out when their number is called, and they do that down there with the remix, and when they're up here with the Blazers, they continue to take care of business.
It's Dennis Smith inside. Baji, I think, will get credit for a block there. He certainly stopped Smith outside. Trendon Watford, who got his start here, of course, with the Blazers, who moved on to Brooklyn this summer, steps in and gets some minutes here early. His only time came at the end of the ball game in Brooklyn for the last possession. Last time the clubs met. Here's Scoot Henderson with it up top. Scoot, little change of pace dribble, pulls up over Dennis Smith. This cast is off and the rebound deflected, and it's grabbed by Trendon Watford. The Blazers have Kamara out on the floor with 5-0. They defend Cam Thomas. Watford trailing for 3, and he knocks it down.
The Nets were able to push the ball and get it to the baseline, Casey, and that flattens the defense. When the ball then comes back out, you have a closeout situation. Watford able to knock down the 3.
Jim Moran, your head coach. Here's a driving kick. It's Thibault knocking down a triple. Jim, of course, for years an assistant with Terry Stott's staff here with the Portland Trail Blazers. Talk about playing for Jim Moran. What's he about?
Oh, man, he's a wonderful coach. He's definitely for his players, and he wants us to play our game, but at the same time, he wants us to flourish and develop and continue to learn the game. But to be a player's coach and to go into practice every day, knowing you have a coach you can communicate with, you can be yourself with, and know that you're going to get the most out of yourself. And he's going to hold you accountable to the standard that he believes that you can hold, and I appreciate him for that. But this year has been wonderful, just learning from Coach Jim and learning from all the other staff. But it's been amazing just how much we communicate and we stay together throughout the season.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very positive guy.
Love it.
Brogdon turns, a fader is off, and the rebound recovered by Royce O'Neal, the longtime vet. Starter for several years with the Utah Jazz, playing 2 for 1 with a deep 3 that won't go. Kamara keeps it alive. Scoot will take it up into front court. Differential here, about 7 on the clock. Scoot Henderson getting the floor balance with the Blazers trailing here by 1. came out and took a lead against the Phoenix Suns 2 nights ago. First lead they had in the first quarter since meeting the Suns on January the 1st. Scoot gives to Badji, ready hands, knocks it down. 7 8/10 seconds left for Dennis Smith Jr. across midcourt. They'll give it to Cam Thomas, a bucket getter, 4-3. It rims off, and the Blazers have a first quarter lead at 24-23. Jarrey Foster, thank you very much, sir. Best of luck to you in the remix.
Appreciate it. Thank you all. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us.
Great opportunity.
Shout out to Houston, Texas, from Mr. Foster.
You know it.
At the end of one, it's the Blazers with a lead at 24-23. Michael Holton and I return with more from Moda in a moment.